What's up guys, my name's Dichronicos here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Bungie Weekly Update on January 11, 2018. There's a lot of new information that has been released here on this update, telling us about the future things in Destiny 2, including a ranking system in Crucible, the updates for duplicate protection, the new expansion. There's a whole bunch of things that they're mentioning in this. Obviously, a lot of these are subject to change because a lot of them are like expectant in fall, spring, and even winter quarter. There's a whole bunch of things that they're telling us that they're working on, as well as the changes and updates that they're promising for us in the future. So they start off by saying, you know, the introductions, addressing the community and all the different things that have been happening. Obviously, you know, Eververse needs some changes. Obviously, the fact that expansion owners get access to content and non-expansion owners don't get access to that content they've already paid for. There's a whole bunch of things they talk about here. You know, they have this interesting image here that it shows off the different things, like the expansion people will get this, and this is all they're gonna get. The season people and the Eververse thing is gonna get this, and they showed the distribution of all the things. This is how it should be. It should not lock you behind any barriers. Obviously, they're very sensitive to this at this point, so hopefully they'll do better in the future. As well as the fact that Iron Banner faction rallies will be returning very soon in Season 2. Obviously, the faction rally on January 16th, which is coming up in 5 days, and Iron Banner is going to be in January 30th, and everything else is pretty much watermarked for the same kind of pattern as before. Coming up next is going to be Eververse. We recognize the scales have tipped too far towards tests at the moment. No kidding, man. Like, everything, all the end game content and rewards are in Eververse. You gotta grind out raids so you can get experience, just so you can get Eververse drops, and that has been a really big problem for a lot of people, myself included. So they're shifting the balance of new content in favor of activity rewards over bright engrams, including ghosts, sparrows, and ships, today only found in bright engrams to the achievement reward pools. That means the raid will drop ghosts and sparrows and some of the things that you'd only find in bright engrams, which is awesome because I really wanted to get these things, but I knew that it was such a grind. I'd never wanted to continue grinding these every single time. So now I might actually have a reason to go back and do raids every single week after getting 335, because now I can actually go grind for those things. They also talk about the Crimson Days. There's a lot of little pay-to-win things that people saw. People were very upset by the Crimson Days. Everything is in Eververse. However, they kind of updated it where in the Crimson Days time, you actually get two bright engram drops. You get your bright engram as well as the Crimson engram drops. So there's going to be a lot more loot going on during that week. So it might be a lot of fun to grind that out. Crimson Days is obviously in February 13th to be more specific. There's obviously exclusive legendary emotes, weapon skins, exotics, sparrows, and whatnot. Completing the Nightfall raid and of course the Crimson Day milestone will offer you these different Crimson Days engrams as well. So that's really awesome because you can do Nightfalls and raids and you can actually get these Crimson Days engrams instead of just having to grind XP. So again, this is being addressed in pretty much the same time, as well as a random chance to drop on the Crimson Days match. I assume it's going to be the 2v2s, is probably similar to what they did in the previous, I think, Crimson, was it called the Crimson events? I don't remember. And of course, they mentioned several times in this article that the Crimson engrams, as well as the bright engrams, as well as the exotic engrams, have duplicate as well as repetition protection. Makes it so it's very strongly weighted to new rewards when decrypting, as well as the rewards that we want to have. They also address XP rates and how they need to be updated. Our original goal is to update XP with transparency and consistency, and obviously they had a lot of trouble with that, and they're still trying to figure it out, so they do not currently have a solution to it, but hopefully they'll make it so we don't have to do 160,000 XP to get a level up right now, which is exactly what's going on, which is actually a lot harder than it was before, to be honest, because before I was getting like 3 bright engrams a week and for each character, and now it seems like I barely ever get one. After that, they start to date their different entries. January 30th upgrade is going to have the Masterwork armors, allowing you to put in different Masterworks into your thing, like that increases the damage reduction while using your super. You can reroll them, similar to the other Masterworks, and a piece of armor, very similar with the Masterwork cores as well as legendary shards. Pretty much exactly what you would expect from it. They have a lot of raid reworks, making it so you can have more interesting and unique things happening, raid-specific perks, as well as adjusting rewards. Lots of different things, so you can have rewards on each major encounter, which is awesome, instead of just having to get like a chest with just tokens. Hopefully that's what they mean by that, making sure that we're actually getting rewards at each encounter instead of those tokens that nobody cares about. Talking about the token guy, Raid Vendor will now let you directly buy the Eater Worlds as well as the Leviathan armors and weapons, so you can just buy them directly if you have a bunch of those tokens saved up, instead of having to grind out trying to get that one piece of armor so you can get the new ornament or whatnot. As well as the fact that new ghosts and raid specific perks are also having a chance to drop in the raids, which I mentioned earlier. In February, they've got a lot of interesting things. They have strike scoring plus high score tracking. They're actually removing the time limiting mechanic, or at least that's what it seems like. Currently they have the time limiting mechanic, which a lot of people are upset about. They didn't like the fact that Nightfalls were timed. I personally did like it because then you don't have to worry about spending 2 hours during a Nightfall. You just have to restart it about like 2 to 3 times before you pretty much get it. So instead, it seems as though they're trying to use a scoring mechanic so that you have to be as fast as you can, otherwise you might not get a reward, or perhaps everyone gets a reward just for finishing it, and the higher a score you get, the better reward you get. I'm not too sure how that works. It might just be a leaderboard kind of mechanic on it, but we'll have to wait and see. They're also adjusting mods to make them more unique and interesting. Again, they use the words unique and interesting, and yet we really don't know anything about how they are unique and interesting. And also, they're probably going to remove them from bright engrams because people are, because we're sensitive to pay-to-win outcomes. Because if you just buy a whole bunch of bright engrams, you get a bunch of mods, which is, helps you pay to get to the more better armor. They also have a bunch of little improvements, including quick play, tower chats, exotic repetition protection, fire team members that appear on destination maps, which I thought was interesting and I really wanted to see. So I knew whenever my buddies just teleported to a new location, instead of like, did you go to the overgrowth? No, it's a bog! And then maybe that won't happen as much anymore. Coming in spring, there's a lot of interesting things. They're going to be talking about the expansion 2. They haven't said anything particular about them. Obviously, they want to keep it as secret as possible because they want to make sure you discover it as you go along. But more specifically, I found the most interesting is the Crucible updates. They're going to be adding Crucible ranks to the Crucible. First off, you have Valor, which is a progression rank that goes up as you complete matches. Winning helps you go up faster, but there is no loss for losing. Secondly, we have Glory, which is a progression rank that goes up when you win and down when you lose. Performance is how you move up here. And they've got this whole system of ranking that we know and love, getting your 50s in Halo 3, getting your rank up, your SR rank in Overwatch. They're doing their similar thing here, and it seems like they're having very similar to the SR system in Overwatch. It seems like the Legend rank is in the 5,000, but we'll have to wait and see exactly how that plays out. Obviously, it seems like you have to win to get better up, and maybe if you do better in the match, you go even higher. It probably is very, very similar to the SR rank in Overwatch. As well as the fact that they're adding private matches to the Crucible, making it so you can test stuff out, look at maps, maybe there'll be ghosts around them. Obviously, there's no ghosts on the map, but maybe we can finally use this to do some myth busting. I've always wanted to do some myth busting videos, but it was very difficult to figure out how to do those because you have to figure out a weird way, and there's no Rumble. Again, there's no Rumble. They also mentioned how they're working on Rumble in the future, as well as the fact that Crucible in the private matches will have a 6v6 playlist in case you wanted it. Mayhem will come in and out as you want it, and a bunch of additional fixes. Other than that, there's a whole bunch of different additional highlights we should take a look at and read. There's not too many of them that are interesting. The ones I found very specifically interesting is the multi-emote launches. It's going to be like an emote wheel instead of having your like standard 3 and then one specific emote. Probably going to have more than one, maybe even 4, maybe more than that. As well as talking about vault space, we're targeting to get an additional 50 slots for your player vaults, so you can actually stuff more things in it. They also talk about adding exotic accessories tab to your vault, so your ships and sparrows and ghosts will go in there instead of going into regular vault. But they have not talked about having more inventory space for mods or shaders, so we're just gonna have to again start stuffing our vault with those things because that's the only place we can put them. As well as the fact that they were talking about heroic strike changes, making it so you have modifiers to make it more interesting and fun to play. I personally think that they should have done that a long time ago, and I thought that they were already going to do that on the first DLC release. And lastly, in fall 2018 or sooner, they talk about a whole bunch of things: item collection, records, weapon slots, archetype improvement, Rumble playlists, clan rewards, a whole bunch of different things. A future of guided games. Maybe they'll actually address the guided games to doing something useful. Address solo versus fireteam matchmaking. There's a whole bunch of things, as well as Twitch. Probably they're probably having some Twitch live streaming in the future, so stay tuned to their Twitch as well as their social medias if you want to see any of those in the future. And anyways, that's pretty much the end of the article. I know I kind of read a lot of these things verbatim. I've been going for a while. I actually don't know how long I've been going. I've been going for about 11 minutes here on talking about this, and that's pretty much everything you need to know. Again, there's a bunch of little things that I didn't talk about, but there are a lot of little minor changes in of course, the future of Destiny 2. Anyways, that's pretty much it for you guys today. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought was the most interesting thing coming up in the future updates. I found that the most interesting thing, even though I don't play it a lot, is going to be the Crucible ranking system. I'm actually excited for that. Hopefully, I can have somebody carry me to a high rank, and then I'll just be like, that's it, I'm done for the season, never playing again. Hopefully I can get that done, as well as Eververse is changing. And, obviously, so you can have more Roids in the Roards. Oh man, I've been talking for like 20-30 minutes straight. So I'm gonna end the video here. I hope you guys did enjoy, and again, let me know what you guys think and what your favorite thing is from the update. My name's been Iconic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.